I gave up my dream job to care for Dad. Then my sister showed up demanding his money. 5 years ago, Dad sat us down and said the doctor told him the cancer was terminal. I was 19, 2 weeks into my first semester, and I had a fast-track programming job lined up through my high school program. My offer letter was on my wall, and I was supposed to start in a month. My sister Alyssa was 27, making great money in marketing, and she loved talking about her future yacht like it was a real plan. Right after the diagnosis, she said, "I can't put my life on hold for this." She said she wouldn't help with care, and she wouldn't pay for a caregiver because it would mess up her savings. Dad tried to play it off, but I could see his hands shaking. That night, I knew what I had to do. I withdrew from school and called the company to give up the job before I even started. People told me I was throwing my life away, but Dad raised us alone after Mom died when I was 12. He worked double shifts, packed my lunches, and still showed up to every school thing he could. So I moved back into his house and became his help. I took a night job at a 24-hour diner so I could be home during the day. My days were meds, food, cleaning, and appointments. My nights were coffee, loud customers, and counting tips just to cover bills. At first, Dad could still joke and walk around the block. Then it turned into a cane, then a walker, then me lifting him by the elbow. Every time he got weaker, he asked the same question. Did Alyssa call? I kept saying, soon, because I couldn't stand watching his face fall. In 5 years, she didn't visit once. Not for holidays, not for his birthday, not even when the doctor said he had weeks. She sent a couple texts a year with excuses like, hospitals stress me out, and then I'd see photos of her out with friends like nothing was happening. Last month, Dad died in his sleep. I was holding his hand when it happened. I called Alyssa and told her, and she just said, okay, send me the funeral details. She didn't come. I paid for the funeral myself, about $8,000 I didn't have. I sold my laptop and my phone and put the rest on a credit card because I couldn't let Dad go out like he didn't matter. The day before the service, she texted that she had a work conference. That same night, she posted a beach video. After the funeral, we went to the lawyer for the will. I came straight from my shift in my diner uniform. Alyssa showed up dressed like she was going to a party. The lawyer read Dad's choices. He left me the paid-off house, his small vintage car collection, and his life insurance policy. $750,000. Alyssa got $50,000 in cash and Mom's jewelry. Alyssa stood up and said, "This is insane. It should be equal." The lawyer said Dad was clear and sound when he signed it. She stormed out. I thought she was just angry and would cool off. 2 days ago, she showed up at the house with her own lawyer and pushed past me into the living room. She looked around like she was inspecting a purchase and said, "You chose to play nurse. That was your choice." Then she accused me of manipulating Dad and said she was going to contest the will. Her lawyer started throwing around words like undue influence. Alyssa told me I had one chance to split everything or she'd drag me to court, and she reminded me she had money to burn. My stomach dropped, but I told them to get out. After they left, I sat at the kitchen table shaking, thinking I'd have to sell the house just to defend it. The next morning, I called Dad's lawyer. He asked if Dad left any letter or notes with the will. I searched the folder Dad had signed at the lawyer's office and found a sealed envelope with my name and Alyssa's under it. I texted Alyssa to come back if she wanted to talk, and I set my phone to record because I didn't trust her anymore. She came that evening with the same lawyer and a stack of papers for me to sign. Alyssa slid them over and said, "Be smart. Take half and move on." I didn't touch them. I slid the sealed envelope across the table and said, "Read this first." She ripped it open, and her lawyer leaned in. I watched Alyssa's face go from angry to blank in about 2 seconds. She started reading out loud without meaning to. Dad wrote that he loved her, but he couldn't pretend she was there when she wasn't. He wrote that he asked about her every day, and I lied to protect him. He wrote that he left her cash and Mom's jewelry so she wouldn't be left with nothing, but he wasn't going to reward her for disappearing. Then he wrote one last line. "If you threaten your sibling over this, you'll prove I was right." Alyssa's hands were shaking now, not mine. Her lawyer cleared his throat and said, "We should leave." Alyssa stared at me like she wanted to fight, but she couldn't find the words. I stood up, opened the front door, and waited. They walked out in silence, and I locked the deadbolt behind them. Now my friends are calling me greedy for saying no. Was I wrong?